is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/bgunlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Kat and I are doing a no run-through review for Tiny Towns Fortune, the newest expansion for Tiny Towns. We have done a run-through and a discussion for Tiny Towns, but I guess so you can go check that out, what we think of that. But in a nutshell, we love this game. Like, Tiny Towns is fantastic. So whenever they announced the expansion for it, I was like, oh, well, that's neat. I don't think it ever really kind of needed one, but let's see what kind of twists they can put on this game. And Kat, what do you think of Tiny Towns Fortune?
The twist was capitalism.
Yay!
And boy, did it ruin my life just like capitalism. No,
Yay!
It was good. It did.
All right.
Yeah. It did introduce money. They found shiny.
How much does it cost? Money.
They found shiny little metal that they were like, can't fucking build with this. I guess we'll barter with it.
Yeah.
And it completely changed how I played the game, and it totally screwed me over because I wasn't ready.
Yeah, so Tiny Towns was always kind of a game that had just enough thought, like, into it, where it wasn't like, it had the air of a kid's game, but actually had some decent thought, where you're just like, you have to plan ahead, but it's not like it's not a Vito Starter game, where you're like, okay, so I need to do this, and then if I do that, but then if I do this, and then let me do this, and then okay, so then if I, and then, okay, I'm gonna have to do all these 17 steps, and I'll move there. And it's like, what? Tiny Towns was a fun, cute, asymmetrical game, and then with Fortune, like Kat said, it adds money. And I think it actually kind of made it even more complex.
Yeah.
But still, they were able to keep it where it didn't like take it from like here to here.
Right.
Like to where it was like, oh great, now there's too much. Nope. I personally think that it added just enough that, but still, like, it added more thought, but not, but kept the same, air of what the complexity that Tiny Towns brought. Mm-hmm. And I like it. I wouldn't say that this is an expansion to run out and get. Like, I don't think it's like amazing. Where it's like, no, it makes Tiny Towns that much better. No, but it does add more buildings to build. Which my copy, this is kind of a negative for it. My copy came with the cards for the buildings were wider than the others, so it's like, but I'm OCD about that. But yeah, like, it comes with some extra buildings that they all center around money in some way. Whether it's you gaining it or you spending it to do certain things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was nice because it's not going to be game breaking. Like, by the end of the game, each coin you have, which you can only ever have a max of 4 unless there's a building that lets you hold more, it's just going to be an extra 4 points. Unless you have like my particular monument made them worth 2 points each at the end of the game. But it's an extra 4 points, which this game is usually, it's not a high scoring game.
Right, someone's not going to have 100, and then the other person's going to have like, oh, I only got 30.
Okay. Right, where it's just, soul shattering. But I also like how all the buildings are radically different with the money.
Yes.
That adds a lot of variety. And I think, I don't have the rules with me, but I believe the rules actually say, okay, hey, play with 4 buildings that include money, and there's 7. One's always going to be the cottage. Mm-hmm. But, so you would have 4 buildings, and then 2 of them can be from the base game. You don't have to do that. In fact, the game even said that you don't even have to play with any of the buildings that include money. You can just worry about the coins. Which, how you get coins is you build 2 monument or
kind
2,
of like giving yourself an in-game buff.
Yeah, like 4 points. Or what the thing that I think what they really wanted to do is the reason why Steven doesn't like this game is because if playing with it plays up to 6, which we've done before, turn order can just dick you over because by the time you actually get to say what you want, it's just like dirt, hay, dirt, my turn, glass. okay, everyone else is like, you can get really
Yeah.
screwed over. I wouldn't recommend this with 6 anyway, but what
Yeah.
they do with the money, which is kind of neat, is they mitigate that. Like if I have a couple coins and you are like, okay, I want wood, and it's like, oh, I have nowhere to put that. That's not what I'm building at all.
Yeah.
You can spend a coin to be like, oh nope, I'm actually gonna get glass. That's really what I need.
Yeah, and I had to do that at one point where like I had to weigh my option between essentially feeding some cottages or spending my coin because I was getting totally screwed, and
Right.
that's ultimately what cost me the game. So.
It was
That
very
and nothing
close.
else. Yeah.
But it's really weird because it's so funny. It's also funny thematic wise, where it's like the game worked out really well. Like you just had these buildings, and you're like, okay, great. I just need the resources. That's all I need to do. We have an abundance of it. We can just build what we want. Okay, what if I throw a little bit of money in there? And it's like,
Yeah, honestly,
it like ruins everything because like not only because you can't just build these and just constantly gain money.
Yeah.
Like for example, my monument was like, hey, when this is constructed, you have to spend 2 money.
Yeah.
And some of these in here are like, hey, if you build this, you have to spend money. Or to build the parsonage, for example, it's like, hey, you have to have exactly enough coin for each cottage that you have in your thing. So it's like if you have 5 cottages, well, you can't build the parsonage anymore because you can't have 5 coins.
Yeah.
So
either build your parsonage first, or just build like one cottage and build up to the parsonage.
yeah, build around it. And what's also kind of cool is they include, it's not player interaction really, but like some of the cards require you to pay attention to what your neighbor has. So like the schoolhouse, for example, is like, okay, this is worth 2 points if adjacent to a fed cottage. All right, that's 2 points. But it's an extra 2 points if you have as much money as your neighbor or the player to your right. And that could be extremely interesting in a multiplayer game because it's like in a 2-player game, obviously, it's like, okay, if I have the same as you, then you have the same as me. It's a wash because we're getting the same amount of points for the schoolhouses. But in a 3 or 4-player game, everyone to your right, it's like, okay, I have as much as you, but you are bouncing off me. So it's just, I really like it. I think it's funny enough. It comes in this big box,
Yeah.
and it didn't need to at all, because all it really comes with these little chests that hold your 4 coins, and then the coins, and then the cards, and I guess this notepad, like for the scorekeeping.
For the note taking.
But yeah, like, you have any negatives?
I mean, honestly, no.
Yeah.
It's
like,
so light. It's so easy. Like the rule book was incredibly tiny, and I mean, I'm solid expansion. It did not ruin anything. It did not build upon the game in a way that it didn't fix the game. It didn't fix something that was broken. There was nothing broken in the first place. It's a very good light add-on. It didn't add too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
do you think the expansion's required?
No.
No.
No, I don't think it's required, but I mean, like let's say that you only have a few games and either you're getting kind of bored of normal tiny towns or your kids are getting older and you kind of want them to be like, okay, let's throw in some challenge or whatever. It's not needed, but it's definitely worth it.
Sure.
I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that assessment. Because not everyone who buys, especially who's most likely buying tiny towns, has an extensive collection like I do.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not breaking tiny towns out every other day.
Right.
So yeah, like I could definitely see people kind of getting tired, and this definitely freshens it up a lot without making it extremely complex. So they did a really good balancing with the expansion. Like you said, it doesn't fix anything. Not that tiny towns have anything to fix, but if people had that complaint of like, well, I have no control over what I want, I'll play a different game. First of all, that's not what the game's about. But it at least mitigates that randomness. But personally, I think the answer to that is you can clearly see what your opponent's trying to build. So, for example, if I'm trying to build a cottage, then it's like, but I'm also trying to build something else. Well, I can call other things because I know you're trying to build a cottage. So you're going to call glass, hay, and brick at some point. So I'll just capitalize off that. It's the same thing with like Roll for the Galaxy. Like you just have to read your opponent and be like, okay, they're probably going to go exploring. Okay, so I won't make that my action. I'll set some dice over there because I know that's what they're going to do. Same thing here. But if you are getting screwed in multiplayer games, you have the money to... You have a risk reward. Okay, I can spend it now to get the resource I really need, or I can hold on to it to try and get some points. So yeah, like, I really like it. I think it's a fun expansion. So, Kat, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the expansion?
I mean, I would say for an expansion, I would say just a 10.
10?
I mean, because honestly, like, we have no complaints.
Yeah?
It didn't need to... It's not a Band-Aid to put over the original game. It's just solid. It's easy. It's just, I mean, incredibly complimentary to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with you on everything you said, but I'm going to give it a... 2. Yeah, a 0. I actually really hated it.
Burning it.
I hate Tiny Towns now. It ruined the base game. You don't have to play with it. And ruined. Tiny Towns is ruined. No, I'm going to give it a 9. Can't give it that perfect because it's not needed. And I don't remember how much it costs though. So I can't put like a dollar price tag on it.
Probably 120.
But it was sitting around there. It was Kickstarter. No. And also the fact that the cards were not the same size, which
you hate that.
is actually very frustrating.
Yeah, you hate that. More than anything.
More than anything, yeah. Like, I would take bad rule books over incorrect card sizes. So yeah, but still extremely high rating. If you're bored with Tiny Towns or you want something fresh, Fortunes, the Tiny Towns Fortune expansion definitely does bring that. So let us know what you think of the expansion in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.